What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another IAB edition of the Ad Podcast. We've got Greg MacDonald, who is a founder of Chelsea Strategies, here to tell us a little bit about what he's up to. So thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.
So tell the audience a little bit about who you are, what do you guys do, and what brought you to IAB this year?
Yeah, so I'm, as you said, Greg MacDonald. I'm founder of Chelsea Strategies, based in New York and Miami, and I'm an independent consultant and working with primarily sell-side clients, SSPs, and commerce media networks, and helping them with grow their demand partnerships with DSPs and brands.
Okay.
And so IAB is one of the tentpole events for me and my clients.
Nice.
Here on behalf of them, and then also on behalf of Chelsea Strategies.
Let's go.
Keeping pulse on what's happening in the industry and trends and outlook for the year ahead.
Love it. Do you want to wrap off a few of the clients? I don't know if you have too many to read off, but maybe, two or three of the ones that you're here representing?
They're not ones that I can necessarily name
here.
That's
okay.
But,
that's okay. You're in the stealth mode side of things.
Yeah, but like major SSPs and cool. Then some data partners as well.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
So, what's the main theme of this year's IAB from your perspective? What are some of the main things that you're looking to take away from the show and maybe bring back to clients as a POV?
So I think everybody's always looking for what are the next things that are going to move the needle and what things is the industry working on versus what's really going to come to fruition and make a difference in their demand partnerships. And so there's a lot of talk of AI and AI agents. And while that's real and it's very important work, is it going to be the thing that moves the needle for my clients this year? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's probably still a ways off for them. So a lot of talk there, but trying to really call it the signal in the noise.
Yeah, of course.
Measurement is a big thing. Everybody who is not omni-channel is sort of pushing in to finish the coverage of, whatever they don't already have. And then, just making advertising better. So whether it's formats or just, getting the right ad to the right user at the right time, first principles still matter and make a difference.
I love it. I haven't attended an IAB event in a while or don't remember. So, but what I did think was kind of funny is it really feels like the publisher side is well represented here. From maybe that goes back to publishers basically were the beginning of the advertising internet, right? Yep. So I think they have a strong legacy with publishers. You had the chief innovation officer from People and Meredith Dash up there, kind of giving a keynote, and it seems a lot of the conversation is around AI and fair compensation models for, you've got huge investment in the compute side of things. You've got huge investment on the hardware side of things, but then no investment or no fair equity being given to publishers that are basically just getting spidered and getting all their information sucked into these models, but they're not really being fairly compensated for it. So what the People gentleman mentioned, I forget his name off the top of my head, but what he said is it's going to create this loop where, basically there's not going to be new content created to train these models, and it's just going to become this cascading effect where it gets into just bots writing for bots, and then, it just becomes gibberish. So I wonder if you have a point of view on that side of things.
Yeah, listen, I think there's no question it is a challenge for publishers. It's a big change to how things have happened for them in the past. And I've had some pretty interesting conversations there in terms of it's going to have to be something different. Like that traffic is not going to be coming back, and we need to really think about a world in which where that traffic is coming back.
There's a bot impression, essentially, like cost per 1,000 tokens being spent needs to be a compensation model to the publishers.
It could be that, or it could be even, how do you better activate tools we already have, affiliate networks, things like that, maintain the user experience, monetize the user in similar ways than we've always done, but in different environments, and sort of tier that ad experience a little bit differently than might have been done in the past. And so I think there's a lot of work to be done there, hopefully quickly, because publishers really are suffering.
Wow.
I mean, it's a real challenge for them. But I think it's a dynamic that is here to stay, and we've got to sort of start with that as the premise.
Yeah. You mentioned kind of the hype cycle of AI. I feel like last CES was like AI as like the shiny object that everybody had, but nobody was talking about specifics. I feel like at least this year we're getting to like specifics, like here's how AI is actually impacting my business. Are you seeing ways that AI is being implemented on the publisher side that is actually a net benefit for them as far as operationally some side of the supply chain is enhancing their ability to do business? I'd be curious.
I mean, ad tech is kind of, depending on how you want to define AI, ad tech is really AI at the core, right? Like
yeah. Machine learning has been a thing since before consumers had it in their pockets, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been
Whether it was IBM Watson in '94, I think it was. Yeah.
Right. And so I think now what's happening is it's democratized, maybe is a good way to say it. Things that you couldn't do in the past that were hard to do can now be vibe coded, can now be, you can write a Zap for it. There's a lot of things that you can get done now that was really difficult in the past, where you or I working with a vibe coding tool can build it on top of an API without waiting for a product dev cycle. And so I think there's just more little pockets of automation that are happening, whether it's reporting, a lot of stuff that's happening in terms of targeting and audience segmentation, development, curation, optimization of packages of inventory is an area where AI is making an impact. They're not necessarily new. I think it's just getting a little bit better, noticeably better, and noticeably easier to implement those things.
Interesting. You talked a little bit about agentic. I feel like agentic is the hype train of this year. This idea that we'll be able to ask bots not just for information, but ask it to go create tasks and actually do things for us. Have you seen any useful agentic real life examples, in the publishing world yet?
They're all nascent, and I think that we're going to a lot of what's happening is consolidating the buying and being, the agents being able to act across more parts of the media buy. And I think that's really exciting, but it also means that how the audiences get segmented, how the publishers package their inventory, and then how that gets fed is going to be something we talk about a lot now. And there's a lot of really important work on how do you develop the taxonomy and what signals are happening and what are signal frameworks that need to be built out or established. But in a lot of cases, I think curation, I'm quite bullish on it. And I think it's actually a lot of that signaling in the near term is going to happen more in the background, is going to get packaged, is going to get bundled, and it's going to get presented as curated packages across more forms of media. And in a lot of ways, I think that's probably a good thing, because it mirrors the media brief in a way that the layman can understand without needing a lot of humans to break it down and then build it back up, pre and post campaign.
Interesting. As a consultant, what types of publishers interest you right now? In a world where there's a lot of challenges, are there any areas where you see opportunity?
I think there's a lot of opportunity in, commerce media in particular. I think is one that's quite interesting, because you've got legacy businesses that are getting into advertising in ways that they haven't or couldn't in the past.
Basically fixed Amazon's business model, right? Their problem.
Sure. Or, those ones, or some of the original use cases. Yeah, cloud, or some of the original use cases, I think, were also people who had credit bureaus who had really strong data, but no media at all. And how do you build an advertising business without an asset to deliver on it? So they have high quality data at scale, but needed a way to activate, and curation has been a way to make that happen. And commerce media has been, whether you're a credit bureau or a retailer or, any other segments that have that first party data, I think it's bringing a lot of new folks and a lot of really interesting assets into the market.
On the commerce media side, you mentioned the proliferation. It feels like anybody who has an e-com site with scale, anybody has proprietary data sets that are interesting to a particular advertiser group, whether that's, people moving or people in market for cars, and what are the signals for those opportunities. Also feels like almost like we're back to, the old internet where you had to do an IO with every single individual publisher because there's not a lot of uniformity or standards being implemented across these networks. At least the ones that are trying to build self-serve walled gardens or self-serve ecosystems. Do you think we could do more to create unification and standards in commerce media?
I think we can and we are,
Yeah.
but I think that's also where curation is going to be coming in. I mean, I've been joking, but it's only partly a joke. I think, we're going to retire, and everybody who's here, this conference is going to retire, and one of the last things we're going to do is write an IO. Like, the human element doesn't go away. Like,
we're still
already
getting Excel files with terms and conditions.
hopefully less of that, but yeah.
I got one yesterday.
yeah. But the human element is there, the simplicity of it. Like all of these hacks and band-aids, whether you're talking pixels or ad tags or PMPs, these things really allow nimble innovation, nimble testing, and they're well understood and they're widely available. And so I think that a lot of these things are not, it allows the industry to advance at the pace it has in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think are the agentic systems going to help? Yes. Are the IOs going to go away? No. And, it's also the IOs help you get to $1 billion sale a whole lot faster because you write $1 billion at the top of it and then you figure out how to make it true, right?
I love it.
A lot harder to do that one impression at a time.
Yeah, good point. Thanks for spending some time with us today. If people want to learn more about you or connect with you directly, where would you like to send the audience?
You can either email me at greg@chelseastrategies.com or check out the website at chelseastrategies.com.
Amazing. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks,
Cheers.
Dylan.
Bye-bye.
Bye.